Yo, yo, yo. Episode 6, politics as usual with RC. RC, what's the word, man?
What's going on, man? We live and direct. King Erno voice.
Word, shout out to the ball Hodge. King Erna, what up?
Going on.
Yo, your man Trump
Donnie be wildin', son.
cutting back on the food stamps.
Yo, $600 billion. If you took $600 billion out of the food stamps, what was in there in the first place? Like, goddamn, and where's the 600 billion being allocated to? Like, where's it going? That's not nothing I really saw them elaborate on.
They
You
ain't
know,
gonna elaborate on that. They gonna divvy up that pie in the White House.
for real, that's what he doing. 600 billion that's crazy. 600 billion and no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. That's great. But I saw that the tax cuts is really gonna kind of shift the tax burden on the lower and middle class while giving the rich people, you know, tax breaks. It sounds like more Reaganomics, to be honest with you. Like Donnie is kind of just everything he really doing is kind of copied out of Ronald Reagan playbook, the whole "Make America Great Again" slogan and all of that. It's just he a businessman, so he knew how to restructure it, package it,
Manufacture it.
put it out to the people. But there's some wild things going on. The budget ain't been passed through yet, though. It got approved. That's what I be saying. They got approved in the House of Representatives, I think like 215 to 214 or something like that. And it was one person who I guess didn't vote yay or nay. It's like, yo, this should be coming down to one vote. Should be coming down to one vote. Two votes, really, to flip from a minority to a majority. And you telling me your vote don't count? Come on.
Yeah, but then your man, I hit you the other day, like, yo, I seen like a little article saying Donnie Parton Hoover. I kind of brushed it off. Then I went on Twitter. Then I seen the say Cheese. I think he based out of Chicago. So I'm like, oh, this might be real because it be trolling on the internet. But then come to find out, only his Fed time got pardoned and all that,
Yeah.
man. But what was your thoughts when I hit you up and told you like he commuted his sentence and all that?
That was wild. Long time coming. And that goes to show if he's doing it, it could have been done. Somebody, all right, well, they gonna blame Obama. Obama could have did it, but when Obama got out of office, I think Hoover only had like 20 years in the Feds, 19 years in the Feds, something like that. Son got 28 years in the Feds. He been in prison since 1973. Since 1973, over a half a decade, bro. Like, that, I mean, my fault, a half a century. That's crazy. And it's kind of like a shallow victory because you still got to come home to Illinois. And I know it's probably good for him being on that plane, seeing that Chicago skyline. You know what I'm saying? He ain't seen that in 30 years almost.
Yeah, because he was in a
He was
Supermax
in
in
the Supermax.
Colorado.
That's a jail underground. Like,
Damn, that's crazy.
I saying he even have fresh air. So, but to come back to Illinois and he got 200 years to face. And they were saying that he was up for parole, I think right around the time the feds came and locked him up. And
So he caught the state joint first.
yeah, he got the stage on in 73. So freaking, they said as recently as I think 2 years ago, the state of Illinois denied his parole. So I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know you could be denying a nigga parole and he locked up in the feds. Like, it's crazy. I really personally don't think the state of Illinois is gonna let him out. That would be like California having let out Tookie when he was on death row. Like you letting out one of the founders, well, in his case, the founder, him and David Barksdale, of the biggest gang in your state, one of the biggest gangs in the country, top 3, 4 gangs in the country. They call it the GDs, the gang of the 20th century. Not the mob, not the Bloods, not the Crips. Not no, but they call it the GDs, the gang of the 20th century. Like, I think that man, I think the state of Illinois is just not gonna let him out, son. It's some people that got too much influence combined with what they've done in the past. It's like if he let him out and he said, all right, y'all, today is the day we run down on City Hall, they ain't gonna have nobody to blame but themselves. In which they don't have no reason to believe he not gonna do that. Like he was organizing the GDs on some political shit, bro. Like he had them. What 21st Century Vote was his organization. You know, where she was politicizing them, and in Chicago, it's illegal for them to spy on political like action groups. So he was able to pretty much get them to move in the police face without the police keeping an eye on them. And if they'd have really been able to move that into that block politics, you know, getting people to vote to their interests, which is stuff they was on wiretap saying, yo, we switching the game into politics. We're gonna put the people in office to serve our interests. That is what they scared of more than anything. And you see it. He got 28 years, but well, he was in the feds 28 years, had 6 life sentences behind that, bro. Like he really put this shit into action to be what it's supposed to be. 100%. Like with that 21st century vote and what he was doing with the G's in the 90s, that is really all what all gangs should aspire to eventually be. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all turn y'all street power and you know what I'm saying, your street notoriety into what you call it in a politics and again people in the office to put forth legislation that you want. Like I just said, it was 215 to 214 in terms of the House. So if they could get 2 people in office that could flip shit in the shit being in our favor, shit that simple. It'd be that simple. It'd be a lot of groundwork, but it'd be shit so simple as having 2 people in the House Representatives. You know what I mean? Like, nah, that man is powerful, bro. That man is very powerful. That man, he too powerful, bro. He too powerful for them people to be comfortable with him being on the street. I don't think they're gonna let Larry out, unfortunately.
How old is he?
He's 74, 73.
74. And they still think he too powerful.
They still think he's too powerful, bro. Like, because his gang, as it was first created, is still on the street. Like, it is different if, all right, like with the Crips, for instance, the Crips, then it ain't just East Side Crips like Raymond Washington founded. Now you got neighborhood Crips, gangster Crips, Hoovers. You know what I'm saying? You got independents. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much other stuff that goes into that. It's not just one shit. Yeah, they got renegade GDs and all that, but it's still all GD. Like, even the renegade GD, shout out Larry Hoover. You know what I mean? Like, his shit is still here as a whole conglomerate. It's still GD. So, yeah, I really, and then them older dudes, the young dudes might not be as fast to catch on because they not as into community. You know what I mean? They don't have that sense of, you know what I'm saying, togetherness as they did back in the days. But them older dudes is gonna be locked and key. I say probably anybody older than maybe 45 is gonna be nigga roll tide, boy. They gonna be whatever Larry talking about, and they know that. They know the influence is too strong, son. So
So with him even denouncing the GDs, you still think they feel like he's a threat?
the young dude, yeah, because we all know you do that to get out of jail. You gotta do that to get out of jail. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of it, you know, but I ain't do 52 years. I ain't even 50. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what somebody in that situation would be thinking or what they may do. You know, and it's a play to just get out. You know what I'm saying? You ain't heard the GDs come out and admonish him for doing that. So, you know, obviously they understand. So, nah. I think, yeah, it's Larry Hoover, bro. It's the reason they ain't let Matul Shakur out until he was dying, like until he was about to die. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he died like almost seemed like instantly
Like
as he
soon as
got
he
out.
got out, you know what I'm saying? So it's like they know who's powerful, bro. They know who got influence, bro.
So you think Matulu was more influential than powerful than Hoover, or Hoover was more powerful?
He's probably not more. No, he's definitely not more powerful than Larry Hoover is, but influential because somebody like Larry Hoover will listen to Amatulu Shakur. You know, so he's definitely probably just as influential. Maybe not on as grand of a scale, but with like those who matter, I would say he's probably just as influential.
So you think this was a play for like Trump? Because it's like I heard something where they like, yo, Trump is giving pardon to like a lot of black criminals and everything. Like he pandering to black people by giving pardons to all these different people. Like Wayne, he gave a pardon to. I believe Kodak too.
Yeah, he just gave a pardon to NBA YoungBoy too.
Yeah.
He got a pardon czar, which was a black lady who he pardoned during his first term, who was in jail, had life terms for like drugs and stuff like that. So he pardoned her, and now she's the pardon czar, and she looks through people. So with NBA YoungBoy's specific case, I know his lawyer. She was one of the lawyers who worked on getting the pardon czar out during her initial sentence. So the shit is all about connections, son. So, but definitely so. I think he, number one, he had, no matter what nature we want to say it was in, he had a relationship with the hip hop community before this, bro. Like he did. You know what I'm saying? Let's not like act like we didn't. And he did what he had to do to get elected. He said what he had to say. He pandered to who he had to pander to, and he tapped in with, whatever beliefs he had going on. But he's familiar with the community, bro. It's not like he's just totally acting like they don't exist. And then I think when he does certain things that could cause some backlash in the community, like black people going to talk about the 600 billion in SNAP that he cut, in which just as many more white people receive SNAP than black people. You know what I mean? Latino people too. You know what I mean? If it's going to be perceived by the black community as something that's going to be an issue, I think he kind of has figured out a way to deal with crowd control, as in let some of their notable people go. I 100% think that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, black people might not feel this move I just did. All right, I'm gonna let somebody out. Cause he pardon niggas whenever he feel like it. It ain't always no end of term shit. Like, if on Wednesday he want to pardon niggas, he gonna pardon niggas. You know?
So you think like the previous presidents, like Biden and Obama, they was like tone deaf to that? Like,
Yeah. Like, I feel like Obama didn't do certain shit because he didn't want them coming and saying, "Look, he did. See what he did? He did it because he's black." You know what I mean? And then truthfully, bro, I I'm gonna put this. I love Obama. All right. My son, we walk past the mural he got by Boys and Girls High School all the time. I ask him, who's that? Barack Obama. You know Obama. But damn it, Trump probably got more ties to hip hop and the inner city community than Obama does. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know he did work there and all that as a lawyer and everything, but in terms of it being, Trump shit is kind of just organic. Like they kind of just gravitated towards each other back in them days. Everybody wanted to be associated with wealth and glitz and glamour, and coming from New York, Donald Trump is one of them names. So he's been had a relationship with the community, son. You know what I mean? And I feel like he really just doesn't care. All these other presidents cared too much about what everybody else was gonna say. He don't care. He's gonna do what the hell he wanna do. And he's doing the popular thing, which it's not always about doing what's popular. What's right is rarely what's popular. What's for the common good is rarely what's popular. But he knows, yo, if I do what I feel is for the common good, even if it's not received well by the people, I could just go do something that's popular. And everybody kind of is, oh, hey, thumbs up, he did that shit. And keep the people entertained, they won't know what's really going on, man. It goes all the way back to the Roman times, bro. So he know what he's doing.
yeah, on my way to the studio, I was watching this live Gully TV did earlier, and the title was GD's gonna put something to the heart of 1090 Jake. So I clicked it, watched it, and he's saying that 1090 Jake is had put snitch allegations on Larry Hoover, saying he was shot before he was a GD, and he told on them, and then people was in the comments was like Whack 100 got him to do it because he put out the article. But you told me Son from No Jumper is the one who
Yeah.
initially put the article out. Even though Whack is tied with No Jumper because him and Adam be working together on No Jumper shit.
Yeah, it was
But
I think the Remo dude, he
yeah,
from Mississippi. Shout out my
yeah.
Mississippi people, my kinfolk. But what you call it? Yeah, I mean that's crazy. First off, I want to start by saying 1090 Jake. Once you stop being a white blood, you officially became a culture vulture, nigga. All right, straight up and down. You not just talking about hip hop. You talking about
You mostly
the
do paperwork. That's
you
how
do paperwork. You talking about the streets. You know what I'm saying? You talking about the streets. The only places where that code of silence shit comes into play is in the streets. And who was in the streets? First, it came from the Italians. You know what I'm saying? And then now black organized crime or black gangs, black street niggas. You know what I'm saying? If you in the streets, if you committing crimes, you're supposed to stay silent, bro. If you're white blood, I mean, if you're no longer a white blood and you're not tied to any
white power.
and I mean any street organizations or any illicit activities or any illicit organizations, bro. You a civilian. Why is you talking about paperwork? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, bro. You need to stop that shit if that's the case. But
Gully
it,
feel like the GD's gonna be on his heels.
yeah, the GD's gonna be
That's what
on
he
his
was saying.
head.
They ain't gonna take lightly
They're
because
not gonna take lightly. But I feel like that's definitely the FBI. Like, let's be real. Nobody's seen that for years. I've been hearing about Larry Hoover since I was a little kid. Nobody's seen that for years. And now paperwork, I mean, an article that's 57 years old pop up, you know? Like, that's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. What happened in that article is actually what transpired. I mean, my nigga, that's telling. They shot me and then they got arrested.
but
That's
but
telling.
Gully also
But
said in his live like the shooter said Hoover ain't tell him.
I mean, the shooters got to come out and say that then. But it's kind of like,
Nah, he
yo,
said they did. Like the actual shooter
with
said
a,
it's not true. Like yo, he never told on us.
so then why the, I ain't gonna lie, the newspaper can't lie. That's why a news article is not a reliable source of paperwork. Like, you need actual court documentation with a docket number. You know what I'm saying? And the docket number got to have his name as a sworn witness testifying in the whole nine. But an affidavit is telling. All that shit went up with Bimmy because he made what? An affidavit. You know what I mean? What they call it? The DD5. He made a police report. Right? That's telling that that's the case. I don't know if Larry Hoover made no police report. The article just say that he told them that, and the newspaper could flip around and say what the fuck ever. And we talk about 1960 Chicago. It ain't like black people were suing the newspaper for defamation. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing set in concrete. It's just that document that was put forth. If shit happened how that document say it happened, yeah, that's all bad. You know what I mean? But that's not set in concrete because it's a news article. You know what I'm saying? It's not a court transcript paperwork. But even if that did turn out to be the case, I would still give the man his respect and his flowers because that's literally one of them cases where yo he told on them, he ain't tell on me. Like you're like yo, even if say theoretically he did do that, bro. The man turned around and was in jail for 52 years. 52 years. Like, so ain't like he told on somebody to get out of jail. When the whole Fed shit came, he ain't telling nobody because the man wasn't even having contact. He wasn't even having no contact with people for a period of time, bro. They was monitoring all his documentation. Like, bro, what? Like, if you were rat, you would tell him to get out that situation. And he really held that down. You know what I'm saying? And the man's still standing strong. Been in jail almost 3 times as long as he been on the street. It's crazy. So nah, I won't even really hold that against him. And then even so, like what I was just saying earlier about the 21st century vote and all that, like the man was putting this shit into the right, you know what I'm saying, into the right aspects. Like Hey, he fucked up if he did do that. But I'm not gonna let that take away from all the shit the man was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like the man really put the right shit into play and was ready to go at the power structure, my nigga. There's no other gang leader that has done that. The closest I could see to that was fucking King Tone. And I know King Tone and them niggas was not operating on the scale that Larry Hoover was operating on. You know what I'm saying? So what they was deep, don't get me wrong, but fucking in terms of actually putting it that forward into play like he was, like nah, bro. That shit was one of a kind. So Malcolm X went to prison. Nobody was saying that we ain't gonna listen to Malcolm X because he went to prison and used to do dope. You know what I mean? Now Malcolm X never had that alleged. I mean, well, shit. When Malcolm X was about to die, nigga, he was calling the FBI talking about the Nation of Islam trying to kill me, nigga. That's telling. Like for real, it's telling. But I love Malcolm X to death. That's, if I had an idol, that's my idol. So like, no, I ain't gonna hold that against Malcolm X. You know what I'm saying? So nah, bro. It's one. Yeah, nah, I can't hold that against Larry Hoover. Son. He mean too much to the bigger picture, son.
So how you think his situation gonna pan out? You think he gonna die in jail?
I really hope he don't, man. I really hope he don't. I hope he get out. You know, but I think Illinois has a Republican governor. I think the governor's a Republican. Because I know Chicago got a Democratic mayor. So he's going to lobby against whatever the fuck Trump is doing. But if they got a Republican governor, if the Trump administration is on some free Larry Hoover shit, they could lean on him to get him out. You know what I mean? Or the Republican governor just do what the president did and follow the party. But, and I really hope that's what happens. I really hope that man gets free, bro. Like, that man ain't kill no kids. That man ain't rape nobody. That man don't need to be in jail for 50-something years, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck, no matter who died, these was all niggas in the street, and these was all grown men who had the cognitive ability to choose from right and wrong. So no, you shouldn't hold that man accountable for no 50-something years. That's ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I hope he gets out, bro. But I ain't gonna lie, I don't really see it happening because that's a political prisoner. That is Larry Hoover's the definition of a political prisoner. I really don't think they're gonna let Larry Hoover out.
Yo, this is politics as usual with RC episode 6. RC Son of South.
Knicks about to win the fucking championship. Let's go. Game 6 tonight, nigga. I'm gonna see y'all on Monday.
Damn, man.